right? So if he says, you are granite and I am an empty wine glass, the person being an empty wine glass is a lot like a human being who is empty. And when you're empty, what does it mean? It means that you're not filled with anything. Yes. And if you're not filled with anything, it means you're hollow inside, and you long to fill that hollowness, that emptiness with something. But this something that you want is granite. It is hard, it is cold, and it's not like you. And it's a lot like, God being something as incomprehensible as this hard thing. As this hard thing that's that might break you when you touch. So it's what does that mean for faith? It's it I suppose it takes a lot, definitely, to believe that God exists, especially during hard times, especially like now. It, it's like, think about what someone could say to you when someone's worrying about test kits and coronavirus and groceries and people running out of money or people running out of food, and you say, God provides, God provides. Can you imagine the kind of wrath, I suppose, that you're gonna get if your answer to everything is, let's all believe in God, let's all believe in God? Because people are, at this time, they're looking for certainty, they're looking for actual solutions. And when you give them the solution of, let's all believe that God will provide, it's not going to be enough to satisfy them, right? But that's the thing, sometimes in these situations, it's the only thing that you can really hold on to is your faith in God. It's especially when things are out of your hands. The only thing that a person can really do is pray, and that might not be enough of a solution for someone, and it's going to be unacceptable as breaking, when you touch granite to wine glass. But what's if you're backed into a corner with nothing else to hold on to? The only thing that's really left is your faith in God, right? So that's what this relationship is when you bring it up to the level of the divine, right? So love opens my chest and thought returns to its confines. And if you bring all of that to believing in God, it seems kind of really stupid when you're facing a supermarket aisle with no food left and you're hungry, and your answer is, okay, God will provide. That looks irrational, that looks stupid. But if you're the kind of person who really does believe in God, it's the only thing that can sustain you. Then it looks irrational to everyone when you have that kind of belief, but for you, someone who loves God and someone who wants to believe in God's existence, it doesn't matter if people think that you're crazy for thinking that, when faced with an empty supermarket aisle, you still think God will provide. You don't care if people think you're irrational. For you, this is what you believe, okay? That God will still take care of you, you know? So it's, it's as believing in God then is as crazy as chasing after someone full throttle. Not caring whether you look crazy or stalkerish, but that's what you believe in, or that's who you love. All right. So it's the same thing, getting drunk off of your love, and drowning in your not drowning, but submerging yourself in your faith in God, because it's the only thing that sustains you. And if you believe in God, same thing, the next morning they gallop out with new purposes. For some people during hard times, sometimes it will be faith that will sustain them. And faith, you can read faith as faith in God, or just simply a strength of mind that you will be okay. And for some people, they will be okay because they believe in God. But for some people, they do believe that they're gonna be okay because the world will right itself somehow. And if you have that sense of strength and that fervor in your belief, then it's the only thing that can really hold you together during hard times, right? So yeah, so that's how it's and then we go back down to don't keep complaining about loneliness, let the fear language of that theme crack open and float away. You need to surrender yourself to God. If you complain about depression, if you complain about not knowing what's going to happen in the future, if you complain about it, if you start having anxiety because you don't know what's going to happen in the future, or you think that you're alone, just when he says, don't let the fear language of that theme crack open and float away, you need to let yourself crack open and believe in God. Even if it sounds stupid. Because if you start believing in God, you start believing in things having a specific purpose in your life, in you having a purpose. Or if you believe in God, you understand that you're not going to die alone in a dark corner of the universe, because you have God with you, right? So that's Granite and Wineglass, and how love for someone, lover, beloved, is a really good parallel to having faith in God. Okay, so yeah, it's so weird. It's just, on a personal note though, it's so weird talking about spirituality, because growing up in STC, which is it's a all girls Catholic school, so it was all very strict. I was a very, very rebellious kid, and I hated all the traditions and stuff. But for some weird reason, when I look back on my high school grades, because I loved language and literature, so that's clearly, that's clearly the reason why I had really high grades in language and literature, or language and reading, I forget, or English, forget one of those. But the next highest grade that I always got was religion. I really don't know. I guess I don't know. So yeah, I'm somehow I'm somehow qualified to talk about this. But on a personal note though, yeah, I would really like to thank my teachers, Sir Naig, my religion teachers in particular, Sir Naig and Miss Chavi, because they were they were all about communication. They weren't really strict religion teachers who would say, "You are a bad human being because you don't believe in God." They weren't like that. You when you talk to them, they will they engage you in conversation and talk to you like a normal human being and not talk to you like a heretic. You are going to burn in the bowels of hell. There's nothing like that. So, they're good. They're good teachers of faith. So hopefully, oh my God, what is wrong with you, neighbor? All right. So hopefully this brings a little light into your life during these dark corona times. Everyone's at each other's throats. So yeah, I don't know if you guys have a good relationship with your religion, but hopefully, Sufism or Rumi's poetry is going to help you believe more, or is going to attract you into any kind of life with faith. Because it's not too strict. It's not too okay. Memorize all of these rules and stuff. It's really about making a personal connection with God. All right, so I'm gonna end this video because I think it's gone on too long. So the next discussion for Music Master and what is it? Buoyancy is going to be in the next video. Probably gonna get some dinner.